Let's start off here. Just general observations here from what you've seen so far. How surprised are you at how well the Warriors are playing, not only in this series, but as a postseason as a whole?
Not surprised at all. I think sort of the simple math of it was that team won 73 games last season in the regular season, came into the playoffs. Curry was hurt. Obviously, Draymond gets suspended, and they end up somehow losing. And then you add a healthy Curry, another year of chemistry, and Kevin Durant. I was sort of surprised that people thought this would be a more competitive series. I actually called for a sweep, which I know could have backfired, but just watching the chemistry, watching the way they've played all year, they didn't want to let down for one game here. A lot of times in a series you will have that one game on the road where a team lets down, but after losing 3-1 last year, they're determined not to let down for a moment, and I think they see this as the right way to make history. Rather than winning 73 in the regular season and setting a record, they want to go 16-0 in the playoffs.
When we step back and ultimately look at this team, because we were talking about it earlier on the show, that obviously a lot of people, and the general consensus is the 95-96 Bulls were the greatest team ever. But where will this team, this Warriors team, rank eventually in the history of the NBA?
It's all, so subjective, but it's sort of fun to do anyway. It ends up being retroactive. So if a team wins 2 more titles, if the Warriors win 2 more titles, will we say next year's iteration is the best or the one after that? Because they are set up to do this now, the way the CBA is playing out. The youth of the players, Durant, Green, Curry, and Thompson are all in their prime. So if they win 2 more, then people might say, oh, hey, this was the dynasty, and they'll start putting them up against the Celtics. For a single season, there's really no way to say. I mean, if you played those 2 teams, obviously today's players are better conditioned. They have a lot of advantages that Jordan's team didn't have. But, one way or the other, they're going to go down as a top 3 team of all time.
Let me get back to your comment and your prediction of a sweep by the Warriors. Certainly that is looking good right now, up 3-0. But what were your thoughts there late in the game when the Cavaliers did have the lead before that 11-0 run to finish for Golden State?
Well, that's got to be so crushing for them today because they played the game they needed to play. You needed both LeBron and Kyrie to have a historic level game, and LeBron did it. And LeBron's played amazing. He has been the best player in the series. And Kyrie finally had one of those games where normally if a guy has that kind of offensive explosion and finishes like that, the way he was finishing last night, he had a huge offensive rebound down the stretch. He did everything you could have asked of him. And then to still lose, I think that's probably what has got Cleveland fans and certainly listening to LeBron afterwards so frustrated because you can play your very best game, and then what happens is the Warriors just wait you out. They've got superior depth, and Steve Kerr talked about this afterwards. The idea being that, we figured eventually if a guy's going to play 44, 45 minutes like LeBron and Kyrie did, eventually they will get tired, and then maybe they'll miss a shot, but they weren't sure. It certainly looked like Cleveland was going to take it. That Durant 3 was that's the shot of the series that we will certainly remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what were your thoughts there, Chris? At the end there, it seemed like Kyrie, instead of driving, he was going for that step-back 3, and you could see maybe, I don't know if the fatigue factor played into just not having enough in his legs to get that shot all the way to the rim. And then also the strategy, they're not going for the 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's the difference there. If you have a team that is not, you got LeBron's got, stratospheric basketball IQ. But then you look down that Cleveland roster, Richard Jefferson's got some, but there's not a lot of basketball IQ. And Kyrie's he's an amazing player, but he is not a coach on the floor type of guy. But the Warriors would have known, get the 2-for-1. Curry would have dribbled right into it. Durant would have dribbled right into that shot. You got to get a 2-for-1 there. And then also Tyronn Lue is not that kind of coach. He doesn't have his team prepared for that. So I thought Jeff Van Gundy made a really good point on the broadcast, which is that's a tough shot, and Kyrie took a tough shot, and either you make it or you don't. But that's a failure in preparation in basketball right there, not so much as individual performance.